Alright guys, so in this session we will be talking about the sociology optional and the detailed book list and the preparation strategy. Okay, so here I'll be talking about the basic books which are required for your sociology optional when it comes to the initial chapters, when it comes to the thinkers, when it comes to paper 2, and I'll also discuss how these topics overlap. For example, if you look at topics like family, okay, it is there in paper 1 and paper 2. Social change, it is there in paper 1 and paper 2. Politics and society, paper 1 and paper 2. So stratification, some of the topic if you look at, it is there in paper 1 and paper 2. Some of the perspectives from thinkers, right? For example, Emile Durkheim, you can compare it with M. and Srinivas. So A.R. Desai and Karl Marx. So like that, we will be looking at the overlapping and how we can prepare and what are the minimum resources, the basic minimum books at least, the important resources to look at for sociology. Okay, so first and most importantly, that is your class notes from whoever is your mentor might have taught the concept. See guys, when it comes to optional, don't take a chance, don't try to rely only on internet. You can do that on GS, but don't do that when it comes to optional. So here you need to be very careful because there is a core subject which is going to decide the ultimate result. Okay, so optional, 2 papers are there. You should be scoring highest whatever you get from 3 GS paper or 4 GS paper, at least 3 GS paper, you should be getting it from 2 optional paper. That's the way you will be preparing, and you should be a master of it because you have only 1 optional to select. Need to be a master of it, and you cannot compromise on that. Have a good mentor. That class note is the first priority. Whoever is your mentor, wherever you are studying, whether it is in the regional local institute, or if you are in Delhi, or if you are in Pune or Calcutta or in Madras or in Trivandrum, it doesn't matter. Whoever is your mentor, that class notes where you have learned the basic concepts is what the first priority. After that, for further reference, we'll look at this resources that I'm going to discuss in this. Okay. So we have, if you look at this, we have paper 1, fundamentals of sociology, and then we have Indian society, right? So this is the paper 2, which is Indian society, and paper 1, fundamentals, where you will be discussing about the overall concepts. Okay, for example, you will be starting with the sociology as a discipline, where you discuss about emergence of sociology and common sense, scope of sociology, and then you learn some perspectives of thinkers, international level thinkers, right? And you will see the applications of that also in chapters like stratification, right? And after that, you will be looking at paper 2 in the Indian context. We will be learning the Indian perspectives, and then we are applying it on the Indian setup. For example, when you talk about family at the international level and Indian level, it's totally different. Even when we talk about nuclear family, at the international level, when we use the word nuclear, it is completely nuclear, it is isolated. But when it comes to Indian society, even though we say that is nuclear family, but still we have large connection with our cousins, right? Family members, and we carry that obligation. Whenever they need a help, we are there. When it comes to a marriage, we are there, right? Whatever difficult situation or happiness is there, we will be there to support and help the kins. That means, though we live in a nuclear family, we live in maybe one house and nuclear, but ultimately it is when there is joy. This is how it is used. There is joyousness in operation. Right, when it comes to marriage or when it comes to any circumstances, there is a kind of joyousness. But when it comes to nuclear families in the West, it is strictly nuclear, it is isolated, not much connection with the kins. What I mean by kins? Relatives. If you are a fresher, if you are coming into sociology, these are the terms that you will be seeing in sociology. Okay, so this we will be seeing the difference, we will understand. This paper covers the core concepts and theories, that is a paper 1, and the application specific social structure. Again, when it comes to Indian society, caste system is entirely different. The Western society have never seen such a kind of system, the caste system that we follow. So we need to, when we simply talk about inequality, we need to apply that in an entirely different context when it comes to Indian system, right? So when we discuss about Western system, the inequality will be on educational aspect or it could be on economic aspect. But when it comes to Indian society, more of cultural aspect we need to bring in. We will be looking at all those. Okay. Now, sociology as a science, that is one topic that we have. In that we will be discussing positivism, non-positivism, phenomenology, different perspectives we'll see whether sociology is a science or not, and we will be discussing and analyzing and concluding that sociology is a science but not similar to natural science. Of course, we are dealing with human beings who have consciousness and the behavior cannot be predicted, just like natural science. When it comes to natural science, you can predict the behavior of matter, right? For example, you take water, you boil it 100 degrees Celsius, you can predict what is going to happen. You freeze it at 0 degree, you know what is going to happen. That the same cannot be predicted when it comes to human beings, right? So, can it be called as a science, just like natural science, physics, chemistry, biology, etc.? No, that is not possible. But it's a science in itself. So ultimately what we say is sociology is a science, but not similar to natural science, but it's a science in itself, because science is more of a method of inquiry. Whether you are using reason, evidence, logic for conducting the research, then it can be considered a science. Okay? Then comes the question of objectivity, subjectivity, etc. That all we will be discussing in the syllabus. Here, please understand, I'm just trying to discuss the book list and trying to make you understand the overlapping part. Okay, positivism emphasizes objective observation. These things we'll study later. Early schools of thought. Leave it. Yeah, this is what I have mentioned. There were debates whether sociology could be considered a science or not. Ultimately, I have told you the answer already. So initially, sociologists, when they brought this new discipline, they wanted to make it a science, similar to natural science, Auguste Comte, Saint-Simon, etc. They even dreamt of social physics. Okay, but later they have realized that you're dealing with human beings, so sociology cannot be a science like a physics, right? But it's a science in itself based on the way we inquire, analyze, and do the research on things. We try to be objective, though maximum objectivity is not possible. Because human being studying human being, how can you say that it is completely objective? If I see how the studies are done, one of the method could be interview. So I'm going to interview you. My questions will be based on my bias, and that bias could be coming out of my religion, my gender, my social aspects, right? So if I'm a female, I'll be asking you a question which is biased against a male. If I'm a Hindu, I'll be asking you a question which is biased against a Muslim. So that's from this side. That itself is going to be colored with biases. Now think about the other side. I asked you a question which is biased. You are going to reply. Will that be unbiased? That will also be biased based on your gender and your culture and your economic aspect and your religion. So many things are connected in the social research. So the point is, absolute objectivity cannot be ensured in social research. But when it comes to science, absolute objectivity is required. I mean natural science. Then the debate we need to answer, that's a separate question. So I told you the answer already. Sociology is not a science similar to natural science, but it's a science in itself. Reason also I told you. It's a social science. Okay, then we discuss about the contribution of thinkers. We will be looking at topics like stratification, politics, religion, social changes. These are the topics that you'll be seeing in your, syllabus. Key figures. See, these are the key thinkers that we need to look at. So we will be looking at Karl Marx, very important thinker, Emile Durkheim, and Max Weber, Talcott Parson, Robert Merton, George Herbert Mead also is there. Okay. We'll look at the relevance and how these are applied in your paper 2 to study the Indian system. See, this is the ultimate objective. You should have a very clear idea about Marx. What is his perspective is all about. So when I talk about a conflict perspective, it is connected with Marx. So how we are going to analyze things by using Marxian perspective. Caste system, we will try to highlight it as a conflictual aspect or its dysfunctions. How it can create problems. How it is going to be exploitative. On the other hand, when it comes to Emile Durkheim, he talks as a functionalist. He brings a functionalist perspective. So where we will try to see caste system as functional. How it is mutually beneficial and give and take. Right? So similarly, different other perspectives, we will be looking at it. So once you have a deep understanding of these thinkers, your preparation is done. So I would say 60% of your syllabus is done if you can cover that chapter on thinkers. And it's not about mugging up. If you have a in-depth understanding about the perspectives and the concepts that they have given, you're done with this. Okay? You should invest a significant amount of time in understanding their arguments, counter arguments, and applications. So this is how I will also teach you when it comes to Marx. What we will do is we'll understand the concepts, we'll understand Marxian arguments, and then we will take up the critical analysis. For example, when we talk about critical analysis, I follow a formula which is CCR. Okay, so after writing the introduction of Marx, where we talk about Marx everything, his ideas and everything, and then we discuss about the theory. For example, he is discussing about class struggle, I discuss the theory, and then I'll go for an in-depth critical analysis where I'll be talking about this C, which is the contribution of Marx. So I'll be discussing in depth what are his contribution. After giving a proper intro and the theory, I talk about the contribution, and then I will discuss the next C, which is the criticism. So how I will criticize? I'll bring up the counter argument of other thinkers. So for example, if Marx is saying caste system is exploitative, Marx will never say, because Marx have never seen caste system, I'm applying his perspective. I can bring in another person or Emile Durkheim and can say how it is mutually beneficial, right? So criticisms, and towards the end, I'm not going to end with a critical note or a negative note. I will be writing the relevance of Marx. So this is how I'll be concluding my paper. Okay. So now if you look at the key thinkers, I've already mentioned Marx, Weber and Durkheim, Parson, Merton. Meet that, not that significant, just one theory. Okay, these are things. Yeah, now comes the books that everyone was looking at. See guys, most of you know about this and you're following this. Good for one round and easy completion of syllabus. That itself is not complete in itself if you're thinking so. You can complete the syllabus and you'll get satisfied, but for more understanding, to add more flavor into the paper, because everyone who's writing sociology following the same book and writing the same thing. But you need to be different. How a restaurant or a recipe is different depends. The contents are almost the same. Some flavor may change. For that, we need to have some additional idea that you should be get from your mentor or some other textbooks. So the basics, this is what you need to. NCERT and then essential sociology. If you don't have a coaching program, still these two will work because the topic is covered, syllabus is covered. At least for your answer writing and test series, you should be looking at a teacher, okay? So you'll get very good basic information about this, and the entire syllabus will be covered, especially with essential sociology. Indian society, paper 2, focus on Indian society, exploring themes from paper 1, applying in the Indian context. Stratification, which is there in paper 1, when it comes to paper 2, you will study it as inequality, caste system, etc. Social hierarchies, we will see Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Okay. Then we have religion, kinship topic. All these in fact are basically covered in that. So when it comes to essential book for thinkers, it's George Ritzer. Some of the chapters selectively you can read to have a better understanding on thinker. See, why I want you to read this. The other one is about the, like there is a difference between Bayrak and Lakshmikant, right? Same is the case here. Ritzer, someone who understood Ritzer and writing it as a guide, that's a separate one. So here, if you need to understand that exact sociological meaning and the language to get that flavor, try to read this at least once, right? Okay, when it comes to paper 2, Indian Sociological Thought by B.K. Nagla. Okay, and this book focuses on Indian thinkers, sociological perspective. You'll get to know the different perspectives, all the Indian thinkers. Social problems, Ram Ahuja, different books are there. So it's like Ritzer. Nagla book is vital for Indian sociological theories. So on one side, read Ritzer for paper 1 and Nagla, sociological thought. You'll see in the first cover page itself, different sociological thinkers, Indian thinkers, photo, and you will see their perspectives, their key points, from which they directly ask questions, pick up one topic and ask questions. Sometimes that is not there in the syllabus as well. One particular thinker who may not be there in the syllabus, they used to ask from this. So one reading, which is very important. Even if you miss Ritzer, do read this. Okay, paper 1 chances of getting question out of the syllabus is very less. Paper 2, that's not the case. Any random perspective, any random thinker can be asked. Caste in Indian society, caste in its 20th century avatar by M.N. Srinivas. You can read to have a very good understanding about caste. So it gives you how caste functions in India. Now ignore sociology notes, again for selective topics like urbanization. And for Indian society also you can do that. Social problems you can go with Ram Ahuja, that could be a good source. So for these topics, ignore material is enough, very good. Some selective topics you can read this. For paper 1 also, some of the topics, this will help actually. Okay, now see, there is a very famous saying when it comes to optional. Read one book 5 times. GS, that's not the case. 5 book 1 time, because you don't know from where they ask you question. It is a vast, unlimited questions are possible. Okay, it's like an ocean. From where they pick, you don't know. So read as many as possible. But when it comes to optional, you have a specific. That's why I told you, the 3 GS paper, whatever mark you can score it from 2 sociology paper, because very specific and you know from where you're getting questions, and you should be well prepared writing and evaluating. So you can do that when it comes to sociology, not possible with GS. So don't get overloaded with too many resources. You have essential sociology, you have your trainer or the mentor's copy, the concepts and everything. Have an understanding about Ritzer, Nagla, and again, paper 2 also covered in essential sociology. Can get it from IGNO, can get it from NCERTs also, but leave NCERT, that's not required. If you have a coaching program, don't even touch NCERT, leave it. That notes, if it is a good mentor, plus essential sociology, plus these textbooks, that's enough. For example, if you are in Ubendra sir's note is there, or Vajira Mahapatra sir's note is there, plus essential sociology, plus one reading of these 2 textbooks, that's enough. Because that itself is giving you everything. Our class notes, it covers everything. You can just look at even if you are not a student of us, ZIAS, you can still, I'll give you the link in the description, you can get complete sociology notes free of cost, just by paying 1 rupee. That's the Guru Dakshina, that's it. Just pay 1 rupee, get all the notes, that's it, it's done. Okay, focus on key chapters. See, very important. There are certain topics like population dynamics, urbanization. You may not get much questions, but thinkers focus, give more time into that. Okay. See, contemporary relevance again is very important. So give importance to a particular topic if it is having contemporary relevance, and go in depth, go deeper than broader. When it comes to optional, go deeper than broader. When it comes to GS, go broader than deeper. Please make it in your mind very clear. Don't get overloaded with too many books when it comes to so. This is enough. Okay, your mentor copy, the book that you're getting, for example, ZIAS material, if you're attending our class, that's enough. Plus, you have an essential sociology as a guide, plus these 2 textbooks, that covers everything. Keep on revising the things, keep on writing the answers, get well prepared. That's it for sociology. Go deeper. Don't go broader. GS, go broader, don't go deeper. If you go deeper, one topic itself is going to take you a lot of, time. Right. So structured learning, the comprehensive course, such as the course of, we are having the course, or if you cannot take the course, take the test series at least. So you will understand whatever you have learned, your perspective, your application is correct or not. When it comes to GS, that's not required. You have some idea, you can write anything, you get the mark. But when it comes to sociology, you should at least understand, if you have not taken a coaching or anything, whether your writing is correct or not. You have learned everything, whether you learned it correctly or not. The application of perspectives is correct or not. Definitely need help either in answer writing or in mentorship or in test series. So when you take the test series, you will understand, right? So that's where you may need to spend some money. GS, even you can do it yourself. Sociology, maybe you can, with the materials you can study, but don't take chance on this optional, at least in one area. Either when you attend the course, take the course, or take the mentorship if there is any, or take any answer writing program, or take test series. Be part of any one of this. Being part of the 4 will be better, but any one of this which will help you that you are going in the right direction at least. Okay, if you are not in the right direction, that's the problem. If the direction is correct, ultimately you will reach. If the direction itself is wrong, then it's gone. Okay, GS, there is no such problem. I again repeat that don't make that mistake when it comes to optional. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. In case if you're interested for the course, you can get in touch with us, and you can get all the materials free of cost, whether you join the course or not, just by paying 1 rupee. I'll give you the link in the description. Thank you so much, guys. See you soon.